Hey guys, so I was just finishing up a little 8-hour maintenance on our new TYM tractor. Just basically ran through and greased up the loader because we've been using that a lot, especially this is grapple. Obviously I haven't had enough seat time to give a review on this, but I do have enough time where I think I can give some initial impressions and kind of what I like and don't like about this machine. So if you've got a few minutes, follow us along. So first and foremost, this is a TYM. You may have heard of them before. You may not have heard of them before. They are out of South Korea, along with the likes of LS and Coyote. So they're not Chinese. I've seen several people say they're Chinese. They are not. They are South Korean. This particular model is a 2400H, H standing for hydrostatic. This would have been a legacy Branson tractor. So a few years back, TYM purchased Branson or merged with them. I'm not sure exactly quite what happened, but either way, this model is kind of a crossover from a Branson. It's, I would say, roughly the size of a Kubota B series. So it's a smaller machine. But I really like the build quality on this thing. It has got a lot of metal. Stuff like the hood's metal. The fenders are metal. It just feels all around like a solid machine. So I guess let's start right with the loader. And this is one of the reasons why, frankly, I got pushed toward TYM and away from Kubota. So this loader is pretty darn robust for a tractor this size. I believe a B series, like a B2301 or a 2601, would have a rating at the pins of between 800 or 900 pounds. This guy's sitting at about 1,300 pounds, which you would have to go, honestly, past an LX 2610, probably pushing you pretty close to an an L series. Something like a 2501, which is a bigger machine. I didn't necessarily want a bigger machine. I wanted something that was smaller so it could be a little more maneuverable on my property. But I wanted the extra bit of lift capacity, especially to run the grapple. By the time you add one of these grapples on, you've lost a lot of lift capacity. So having that extra capacity over the B series really kind of pushed me in the direction of TYM. So this has got an old, what I would call like a utility style tractor loader joystick, which sits on the side of it. And man, by the time you put this third function kit on it, it kind of looks like an octopus hanging off the side of it. There's a lot of hoses and a lot of stuff going on here. Now, you could argue that it's a lot easier to work on a set like this, and yeah, you'd probably be right with that. If you're looking for something that looks a little bit nicer, though, this is probably not your cup of tea. There's a lot of hoses coming off this bad boy. Me, I don't care. Honestly, I learned how to drive a tractor on an older Kubota M series, which had a similar joystick setup, so this to me is quite familiar. A lot of the more modern ones will have the joystick either on the fender or like the B series will have it floating out here. So it's a little bit more ergonomic and it looks tidier than this. Me, I really don't care. This doesn't bother me a bit, but to some people, this may not be your cup of tea. Now, under the hood here, we have got a Kukje engine. You may not have heard of them before. And honestly, till I started looking at this machine, I hadn't either. But for lack of better terms, Kukje is a supplier for Cummins for their A series. And if you believe the chatter online, what this is under the hood of here is basically an A series Cummins diesel, which is, I believe, stands for agricultural series. It sounds great. It's a great running machine. I mean, this machine only has 8 hours, so time will tell just how great of a running machine it is. But so far, I really like the nature of it. So we'll see where that goes. This thing is running about 24 horsepower, which means it does not have to have the diesel particulate filter on it. So we're good there. So it's a little cheaper emissions on it. And yeah, it just seems to be so far a great running little machine. Now from your seat, we've got a 2-range transmission. Now, I've heard of a lot of people saying that the low's lower on a 3-speed and the high can be higher. I don't know how much truth is to that. What I can tell you is this machine feels plenty low and plenty high and high. I do kind of wish for a 3-range transmission in this case, just because when you're running it empty, if you're running it in low range, you're pretty much running her flat out to have a decent speed. But high range is just too high. So this has kind of got, you know, a good low range and a good high range, but you can kind of feel where mid-range would be nice to have in a machine like this. I believe this sticker is lying. I don't think this one has got a mid PTO. I can't find anything under there that looks like a mid power takeoff. So I don't know if this sticker just got applied, and I don't know how much these covers are accurate. We'll talk about that in a second here, but it's typical 540 PTO for the back. Right now I've got a box blade on it, which was part of a package deal I got on this. I bought this from Northern Michigan Tractor and Equipment. Over on this side, we've got our 4-wheel drive. This guy's kind of lying. This sticker would kind of lead you to believe that this has got a 1/4 inching valve for the rear 3-point, but playing around with it, it does have a position control. Just the sticker is wrong for whatever reason. I don't know if I can maybe see if TYM will send me a proper sticker for this so I can use the, you know, position control how it's supposed to be used. But yeah, this is not a 1/4 inch valve on this particular machine. I don't know why they've got it set up like that. Down here, we've got our forward and reverse controls for the hydrostatic. That's our brake. This is kind of an older setup, so it's got a clutch on it. So that's kind of, if you've never used a clutched hydrostatic, you're in for a treat there. I guess it's not anything spectacular. Our throttle's right here. This is kind of in the orientation I'm used to. Kubota's kind of reversed these with the B series, which is safer. So if you're to knock it with your knee, on this style, it would be, you know, increasing your RPM. On the newer Kubotas, you have to pull down for the RPM to go up. So I believe if you hit your knee on it, it'll slow it down. Me, I'm used to this style because the M series I learned on had a very similar style stock for the RPM. So for me, that's good. Not a lot else up on the controller, you know. We've got a cruise control right in here. We've got our hazards there. And just some basic information, a nice little dash layout. Yeah, there's not a lot more to say up here. So one area that I'm not really sold on this machine is the position of the diff lock and parking brake. Now, every machine I've ever used, which is admittedly not many, the diff lock's been right over here. But as you can see, that's where the parking brake's at. Now, where's your diff lock? Well, it actually looks like it's part of the seat, or maybe like the controls for the seat on how to adjust it. But right up here is your diff lock. Push down for your diff lock. Well, I don't know. I think I would prefer a pedal. The other thing that it's done to me, if I sit up here in the operator station, my legs kind of feel a little bit crowded by how this is set up. And I've kind of had to change my position as an operator to kind of fit this machine better. Like, I'm not so sold about having the diff lock over here and the emergency brake over here. I think I would rather have this be the diff lock and maybe the emergency brake up here on the fender. I don't know. That's just me, and we'll see. Maybe a few hours in this, more hours in the seat will have me a little more comfortable with this layout. But just as of right now, I'm not so sold on how this is laid out for the diff lock and the emergency brake. So yeah, with all the damage we had to the property, we kind of made it a point just to finally pull the trigger on a tractor. So one of the big reasons we went with TYM is value. These machines are really fairly priced. We were able to walk out of the dealership with the tractor, a box blade, a bucket, a grapple, the third function kit added, and a set of pallet forks for less than what we could get just a base model B2301. So yeah, TYM is going to be coming for Kubota pretty hard here in the next few years. So like I said, if you haven't heard of them yet, I have a feeling you will soon. They're trying to expand their dealer network, and from what I'm seeing, the build quality here, aside from some misplaced stickers, this machine is built very well. Like, this is all solid materials. Everything on this is like heavier gauge steels, and it feels extremely solid. So I've been very happy with it so far. We'll probably hold off on a review till I get at least 50 hours, get the 50-hour maintenance in. But so far, I'm really liking it. We did make the call to have the rear tires loaded. That's got rim guard in it, which is basically beet juice. I'm super happy we did because some of the loads that this grapple can get a hold of, you're glad you got some ballast weight back there, because that's one area where having this heavier duty loader on a smaller machine can kind of come and bite you if you're not properly prepared for that. But anyhow, this is just kind of a quick walk around of our T2400. I really like this machine so far. Glad we pulled the trigger. And honestly, I'm glad it's a red machine. This thing has been really good so far. We'll see. We're only 8 hours in, so time will tell, but I have a good feeling about it so far. Thank you. Have a good one.